A shout out to Mickey Saunier, joins me here in the broadcast desk to say hello this afternoon. George Riley's here, Paul Trainer, as the 7th race, PEI Colt Stakes 3-year-old fillies in the gold division, lines up behind the Metro Home Building Center starting gate. Let's go back upstairs to Vance Cameron.
Rock and Roll K, Shadow Angel, Woodmere Heather M, How Mac Julia, Woodmere Clara, Singing Ramona, gold division of the PEI Colt Stakes, 3-year-old filly Pacers, chasing $11,600 in purse money. Top of the stretch. Approaching a start. Rough and pacing, Singing Ramona from the far outside. On the rail, Rock and Roll K's, Woodmere Clara's between horses. Shadow Angel along the inside. To get away fifth is Woodmere Heather M. Then the early trailer. That is How Mac Julia. Up the backstretch they go. Rock and Roll K's the leader for Kenny Murphy. Woodmere Clara's gonna drop in second. Racing from third, that's Singing Ramona. Shadow Angel on the cones fourth. Woodmere Heather M fifth. Trailing the field. That's How Mac Julia. They're strung out on by the opening station. Rock and Roll K's demanded the lead, and he's over to the quarter. 28-1 open this one up. The serious leader, Rock and Roll K's and Kenny Murphy. Racing second, that's Woodmere Clara. Singing Ramona down the stretch for third. Racing from fourth, that's Shadow Angel. In fifth is Woodmere Heather M. And trailing the field, How Mac Julia. That's Rock and Roll K's the midway point leader. Tried to get a breather in the second quarter. Not quite there. 58 seconds flat for a half a mile. Rock and Roll K's the leader at 5-8. Woodmere Clara second. Singing Ramona is there third. Fourth on the outside, Woodmere Heather M. Racing from 50. Shadow Angel trailing the field. How Mac Julia, they arrive at three quarters. Rock and Roll K's is still there. Woodmere Clara, the textbook two-hole ride. Singing Ramona round the turn third. Three quarters up in one. 27-4. Eighth of a mile left to go. Rock and Roll K's to bring them home. Woodmere Clara second. Singing Ramona to the outside third. Down the stretch they come. Rock and Roll K's almost there. Woodmere Clara on the outside. Rock and Roll K's doubles up Kenny Murphy in the PEI Colt Stakes. Woodmere Clara was second. Third is Singing Ramona. Time for the mile in 1:56.4.
Here comes the slow-mo replay for the afternoon 7th race. Rock and Roll K's on the rail with Kenny Murphy. Demanded to cut it. 28-1. The half 58 flat. Down the three quarters in 1:27.4. And she puts off the challenge of Woodmere Clara and holds on to win right to her record, 1:56.4. Kenny Murphy goes back-to-back here this afternoon. Woodmere Clara will settle for the deuce. Singing Ramona in there for third. And for fourth is the 2, Shadow Angel. So we have a 1:5.62 unofficially in the afternoon 7th race. And we shall see Rock and Roll K's and Mr. Murphy in the Woodmere Standard Breds winner circle next.
Rock and Roll K's going to the 7th race winner's circle. Big pacing filly 3 by Tobago K's off the Camlock Dam Timel Extra, owned by Hardcore Racing of Belfast. Filly bred by Blaine Tebow of Kensington. Trained by Jeff Holmes, driven to victory by Kenny Murphy. Kenny's second win in the PEI Colt Stakes today for the double. The mile 156-4. She goes right to her 2-year-old record. Rock and Roll K's in the PEI Colt Stakes. Julie Jameson, Cam McPhee from the PEI Harness Racing Industry Association. They're joining us today with the presentations.